Good morning. It is Monday, May the 11th. Want to read from Matthew 25. I'm going to read a couple of verses and then go into it here. It says, "The one who had received 5 talents came up and brought 5 more, saying, 'Master, you entrusted 5 talents to me. See, I have gained 5 more.' His master said to him, 'Well done, good and faithful slave. You are faithful with a few things. I will put you in charge of many things. Enter into the joy of your master.'" This parable is a very telling parable. Um, it tells us that we have a duty. It includes the words that we want to hear, and this is one of those things that as Christians, I think we strive for, is that in the end, when we cross over to the other side, when we cross that wonderful river, we reach the pearly gates, we hear these words, "Well done." And to hear those words is probably one of the great driving forces, especially in the life of a Christian, and it should be. But there's obviously things that have to be done. Now, in this parable, it talks of, the master gives out talents to 3 different slaves. And the first 2 that get multiple talents, they go and they make more out of it. And then the one that's given 1 talent hides it in the ground and does nothing with it because he fears his master's wrath if he were to happen to lose it. And the important thing to remember there is the fact that the Lord, obviously, within this parable, and I would say in our lives, is expecting us to to do something that's going to multiply what He's given us. In other words, He wants us to be good stewards, not just of our money. When we hear the word steward, we automatically think money. He wants us to be good stewards of our blessings, of our talents, of our time, and to be investing them in such a way that allows an increase to be coming in the kingdom. Now, we know that we are to be planting the seed and to watering, but God's the one that brings the increase. But He can't bring an increase if we've done no planting and no watering. If we've done nothing to use the talents and the time that we've been blessed with in order to go and invest in the world around us, to have that increase there to be brought. It is impossible to take something and make it more with zero effort. And this is why I've never been able to wrap my head around the idea of Christians who think it's perfectly fine just to show up on Sunday morning. And believe me, I know saying that phrase makes us long for the time when we can do that again. But I hope that when this is over, people no longer just want to show up on Sunday morning, punch their little time clock, and then go back to their 160-something hours of the rest of the week to do as they please. We need to be readying ourselves and living out the gospel message, which means sharing it with others. That is the base truth of the gospel message, that it needs to be shared. It needs to be given. It needs to be invested in others. We need to be planting. We need to be watering so that God can bring that increase. If all we ever do is just show up 1 hour a week, we're no different than that one servant that buried his talent so that he would at least have that when the master returned. Folks, that means we've got to risk being turned away. We've got to risk being turned down by our friends. We've got to risk losing certain relationships because, quite frankly, getting someone to heaven is more important than any particular friendship. We need to be willing to risk everything in order to gain anything when it comes to bringing others to Christ. I hope you have a great day, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow.